Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lori. I'm so happy to be back. It's been a little over a week since I posted my last video, so I'm excited to share so much with all of you. I have a lot of videos that I'm going to put out this week. So this video is, I'm outside. You can't see the mountain behind me, but it's so beautiful out right now on Mount Shasta. So anyways, okay, this video came from a client session today, this morning, and I wasn't expecting to share this, but I felt like what we were given and what we were shown by these star beings is a really important way to start to look at how ascension works in a very physical way inside of our physical bodies. A lot of what's been coming in the last couple of weeks for me and what I've been really integrating and sitting with is paradigms and how to start to share what's going on with us and how we are shifting out of very old paradigms, very old belief systems that a lot of current really beautiful, powerful spiritual teachers are still talking about. And how do we start to shift out of that? How do we start to walk away from the old ways of thinking and being and into these new spaces and new consciousnesses? That's a word. And so one of these kind of new ways of new paradigms that we're walking into is how we actually physically see our ascension process. How we see the trauma, the pain, the emotions, all of these really powerful, potent things that are being awakened within us, so to speak. How we can start to see it in a different way. Less about attachment and processing, working through, healing. There is no such thing as healing. In the sense of there's something that you have to do. So as we start to evolve, as we start to shift into higher states of consciousness, which means that we start to shift into more light. As that happens, we start to understand that there is nothing that we are working through. There's nothing, there's no work, there's no struggle, there's no processing. It's light consciousness in different states, different frequencies, shifting. So our emotional experiences that are stored within our physical bodies and emotional bodies and mental bodies are held at a frequency of light. And as we shift, sometimes, many times, unbeknownst to ourselves and unconsciously, shifting into higher states of frequency, these emotional and mental dense consciousnesses that are stored within us are naturally dissolving and shifting, regardless of what we do. Regardless of the steps we take to heal it, regardless of the courses we take or the books we read, what we're going to start to understand is that it's naturally happening. It's a natural process. The healing, so to speak, is natural. That all that we need to be aware of is what we are being shown within us, what we are seeing, what we are feeling, what we are experiencing, and having absolutely no attachment to it. Which also means not attaching to the fact that you need to heal anything, that you need to move through trauma. So there's a difference between acknowledging it, so seeing it, feeling it, recognizing where outside of yourself it came from, what experience it came from, but that experience is outside of yourself. It's no longer pulling you energetically to it. Yet the experience of it is inside of you, energetically, on an energetic level. And as the light expands, the light shines, it shows you these aspects of you that are breaking up and moving through you. And so you feel it, you see it, you experience it. But that is all we have to do. So you can absolutely remain in the paradigms that you need to heal things, you need to process things, you need to work through things, you need to go to all these different seminars and retreats so that you can heal the trauma and process the trauma. That is a paradigm that is beautiful. It has worked for so many people for so many years, and it continues to. However, there is a new paradigm, there is a new belief, understanding, reality that we can walk into that holds the understanding that it's all energy, that it's all frequency, that it's all physics. It's all physics. And so if you understand that, that doesn't take away from experiencing it, feeling it, seeing it, right? Acknowledging it. Wow, look at that piece of me. Wow, look at that traumatic experience I had that's here, or that's here, or that's down here in my leg, or that's in the back of my neck, right? They're all over the place, right? And they're starting to pop up more and more because the light's shining on it. So let me tell you what happened inside this journey. So there is a system of light called the Anteras. The Anteras are really high frequency. They're around 17th, 18th dimensional light beings. They're light beings. They're from a light system called Anteras. And one of their main messages is how easy the human experience is meant to be going forward. Obviously, it hasn't always been easy, but going forward, it's meant to be easy. And so our ascension process is meant to be easy. Our ascension process is not meant to be challenging and something that we have to force ourselves through or struggle through or have all this pain and angst to it. If you can start to understand what's actually on a very physical and physics type of scientific level, what's happening, you can start to kind of relax, drop the shoulders, say, okay, it's all okay, it's all okay. So we were brought into this really beautiful room, and the Anteras came in and began to show myself and this client what's happening in the body. And what they were showing us was this. So we have a spinal cord. And I want to preface this by saying, and I didn't preface this in the beginning of my YouTube channel, but I do it in every single one of my videos, that everything I talk about is my own experience, is whatever I felt, whatever I've seen, whatever I've experienced. And so everything that comes into me, I share based on what I've received, not what I've seen outside, not what I've read, nothing. It's all what's been coming into me, what I saw inside in my journeys. So this is what they showed us. We have a spinal cord, right, that runs down our bodies, physical bodies. And this spinal cord connects the 7 energy systems, which are the chakras inside the physical body, and then the 8 above, right? And it grounds, there's a cord that comes down so there's 15 energy centers, 8 above, 7 in, and it grounds all the way down into the earth. And so you can imagine it as like a cord or a tube. You can see it however you want to see it, but it's an actual kind of freeway system of energy. A meridian system that moves energy straight down into you. And the spinal cord is where the energy is felt in a very physical way. So when we start to ascend, and when we started shifting into higher states of consciousness, what they were showing us is that the actual spinal cord is where so much energy and information is held. And so what happens is, as the light comes in through these centers, through these energy centers, and down into the spinal cord will activate the light in there, and there are these meridians that move out from the spinal cord. And you can imagine them, they were showing us, you can imagine it as being like arms or like light beams, moving out from the spinal cord. And what these meridians do, what these light kind of arms do, is they tap into, right? What it's doing is it's spreading the light out from the spinal cord. It's spreading the light out, and as it spreads the light out, it's tapping into the denser energetic consciousnesses that you've collected throughout this lifetime and other lifetimes, from experiences, from people. It could be pain, it could be trauma, it could be emotional, it could be belief systems, it can be so many things, right? And because we didn't move through it when we first experienced those experiences, they're stored inside of us now. And so we all kind of understand that through the ascension process, these energetic consciousnesses that are denser than the light inside of us are breaking up. And so what happens is, as this light starts to come through our channel, right, this cord, and into the spinal cord, the meridians spread this light out. And as they do, they literally touch the denser consciousnesses that are inside of us, the emotional ones, the physical ones, and the mental ones. And when they touch it, all of a sudden you'll start to feel a past experience, or a past pain, or a past trauma, a past emotion, things that we've been quote unquote processing and trying to heal for very, very, very long time. Why do you think that the ways we've been doing it in the past don't work, right? So you'll go to a therapist, or you'll go and do all these things, and you'll think that you've healed, or you think that you've cleared and processed, and you think that you've done all this work. And then all of a sudden you start shifting into a higher state of consciousness, and these meridians go out and they touch those aspects of you, those denser consciousnesses. They'll tap it, right? Because it's not cleared out yet. It doesn't clear out until there's enough light inside of you to break it up and push it through. So it has nothing to do with the amount of work you're doing to clear it. It's actually, unfortunately, a lot of energy wasted when we try to really work on these collective dense energies that have been inside of us for a very long time, right? So all this work we're doing, it's very beautiful. It's an old paradigm. It actually doesn't work, right? Because what you'll notice is, as you're starting to ascend into higher states of consciousness, which only means more light's coming in and more light's shining out from these meridians, the dense pockets of crap that you've thought you've dealt with, the dense pockets of crap that you thought you healed and did all this work on, pop up. You're like, what the hell is this? I thought I worked on this for 10 years. I thought I cleared this with a past relationship. I thought that person that triggered me 3 years ago, and I worked on this trigger, is done. It's not. We're human, so we think that that's what we have to do, and we don't. So this dense form is, the light shines on it, the meridian from the spinal cord shines onto it. And the only reason it's shining onto it is because it's like, oh, this isn't pure light. This is dense. This is a consciousness in here. What is this, right? And it starts to dissolve it. It starts to dissolve it. And then it just very naturally, eventually, through our ascension process, moves through the spinal cord and out. And by the way, what they were saying is, you don't have to turn anything into light or love or peace or harmony. There is no such thing as good energy and bad energy, negative and positive energy. There is no such thing on a higher state of consciousness. That doesn't exist. It's all just an energy, right? It's all just a frequency, different frequencies. So what we consider a negative energy or a darker energy is just a lower frequency. It spins a little bit lower. It's experienced through the human body because we live in a dualistic system. It's experienced as bad, good. So we have this belief system that we've been taught that when you clear energy out, by the way, you don't have to clear anything out. It's done naturally. It naturally just happens. You just have to be aware of it. But you can buy into the belief system that you're clearing things out on your own. When humans think they're clearing things out, they think they have to clear it out and push it into love, or push it into light, or push it into turn that negative into a positive as it goes out. You don't have to do that. That's a belief system. It's a very cute one, very cute human belief system. You don't have to do it. Imagine fire burning, right? There's a fire on the ground, right? And the smoke's billowing up. and the smoke's billowing up, and it's starting to dissolve into the air, and it just dissolves. It just goes away. It just disintegrates. It's gone, right? That's the same thing with the energies inside of us, the pockets of energy. They break up, they break up, they break up, they break up, and they just dissolve down through the spinal cord, and they move out. So the spinal cord is hugely important in our ascension process. It actually physically moves every dense pocket of energy out, moves through the spinal cord, right? And the energy that's coming in from the ascension process, from the light quotants that are moving into the earth and into our physical bodies, are coming in through this cord, through this channel that's coming in, right? So as it comes in, it moves into the spinal cord. It starts to move out with all these beautiful meridians, which they were showing us as kind of like arms. And these arms of light touch all the pockets of density that we've had, right? And as it touches it, depending upon how dense those energies are, which means depending upon how much consciousness is held in there, how intense it is, that will decide, that will determine how long it will take, how much light is going to need to break it up. So because we live in a system of time, it could take 3 weeks, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, who knows? Time is very different when we're being taught through systems of light, light beings like Anteras. They don't understand time. So understand that this is natural. This is just happening. We don't have to do anything. So every time we shift one little level up in frequency, every time we just do a little shift, what that's doing, the kind of knob is turning to another frequency, right? All that's happening is a little bit more light's coming through that channel, depending upon how clear the channel is. That allows more of the light to flow through. A little bit more light is coming out into those meridians, and a little bit more light is shining on these consciousnesses, breaking them up. And as they break up, right, and eventually dissolve more and more, it allows more light to move in through these meridians. And then you encompass more of a light body instead of a carbon-based dense body. So here's the message. There are paradigms out there, very old paradigms that were created in a denser light quotient. So they were, and I'm going to do a different video on this, so I'm not going to go into what this means. I'm going to do another video on what this means. But when the earth was holding less light, these paradigms were created. These paradigms existed. Paradigms of the work you have to do to clear, the healings you have to do, the processing you have to do, the books you need to read, the steps you need to take, all this work, this effort you have to put into clearing, processing emotions, processing trauma. If you think about it, and you think about all of the times that you've done this work, okay, what's happening in our ascension process, which is so beautiful, is that we're tapping into these things that we thought we worked on. We're tapping into these things that we thought we cleared. We're tapping into these things that we thought we were done with. And the reason this is so disturbing for many of us is because we were in an old belief system that we thought was real, and we're starting to recognize, holy cow, none of that mattered. None of that mattered. None of that really worked, right? So what's happening now is that we're starting to embody the physical form, and so we're feeling a lot more. And so once you start to feel a lot more, what's going to happen is the meridians are going to go out, and they're going to start to tap in. And once it taps into something, it touches it, you're going to feel it. And all you need to do, listen, I'm telling you, please, this is from a star system that is way more intelligent than we are, okay? All you need to do is feel it and acknowledge it. You can recognize where it came from, right? And this is what triggers are also, right? It's like, oh, what's that triggering inside of me? Oh, it's triggering this wound. It's triggering this trauma. It's triggering this pain, okay? Great. Period. End of discussion, case closed. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to train yourself to think a different way. You don't have to necessarily forgive. You have to look at it. You have to see it as an aspect of you. You have to see it as something that happened outside of you, that impacted you. And you have to understand what's physically and in a physics type of scientific level happening. So the light is hitting it. Oh, wow, I don't trust people. Oh, where did this trust come from? Not trusting people. Oh, it came from this experience and this experience and this experience in my past. Got it. Okay, what do I need to do with that now? Nothing. The light's going to come in. It seems like it's like, well, that's a cop-out. Call it whatever you want to call it. You can continue to do the effort and the struggle if you want. It's up to you. I'm telling you, it's not going to make a difference. At the end of the day, this is all physics, period. It's all energy. The human mind creates the struggle. The human mind creates the process, the step-by-step, the books you have to read, the people you have to go listen to, the retreats you need to do, the workshops you need to do, right? They're all beautiful. They all play a part. They all bring you closer to this awareness. They all bring you closer to this awareness. So there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just understanding that that is actually not going to do much, because what all you need to do is to acknowledge, to feel it, to see it, to hear it, to love it. Love it, love it. Oh my God, look at this piece of me. It's a piece of you, right? It's a piece of you. Look at this pain, or look at this anger I have. Look at this anger I have. It's a piece of me. Holy cow, where'd it come from? Oh, this anger stems from this, right? Or it stems from this sadness, or whatever it is. And acknowledging it, and that's it. So there are plenty of paradigms out there and belief systems that tell you that there are dark forces sort of infiltrating you. There are entities in you. There are implants. This client was wondering if there were implants in her. So understanding that there's absolutely none of that in you. You are a sovereign light being in a different dimension now, in a different frequency, in a different paradigm. Those are old paradigms that don't impact you in this new sovereign space. The only thing that is impacting you is what has occurred in your past that is currently in your physical, mental, emotional bodies that are clearing out. That's it. It's clearing out. I'm going to do a whole other video on dark energies and dark beings, quote unquote dark beings coming in and this whole belief system. So that's another video I'm doing. I'm going to do multiple videos this week and just send out as much as I can. But what's important to understand, again, none of this has to make sense, and you can, not take any of this in, or you can sit with this and see if it resonates with you. Because what these beings were telling us is that it's meant to be easy. I did a video in January from the Anteras as well, and they were saying the same thing. It's meant to be easy. This is a challenging aspect for us to believe in, because it's always been a struggle, and it still is a struggle. There's many days where I'm struggling. There's many days where but it's not the same type of struggle. It's more of like you're just struggling through your day-to-day shifting. You're struggling through the day-to-day up and downs, right? It's just like struggle is just a word to use to say like, moving through the crap, pushing through all this stuff. But what's important is that we're not meant to control it. We're not meant to dissect it. We don't have to do anything. How much can you just sit back and allow it to happen? How much can you sit back and say, okay, so here's what's happening. Light's coming through this channel. Light's coming into the 7 energy systems here. Light's coming through my spinal cord. As the light moves and enters into my spinal cord, it's moving out through these meridians, these lights, these arms sort of, and they're tapping into all of the denser aspects of me, the denser consciousnesses that are stuck in there from this lifetime or other lifetimes. And those lifetimes and this lifetime is not pulling me. It's not impacting me anymore. Okay, I'm a totally different sovereign being. I'm in a different timeline. I'm in a different space. I'm in a different paradigm. I'm not in the old belief system that my past lives and that this current life, my past experiences in this life, that they're still holding me back, that there's something I need to heal, that there's something I need to process from those past lives. There is no healing done in past lives. You don't need to understand or move through past life experiences. It's all about being present. It's all about being in the now. It's all about right now, your sovereignty, what is happening in your physical form right now through ascension. That's it. You can believe and you can move into the belief system and the old paradigms that you have lifetimes that you need to heal, that there are things that happened in your past lifetimes that you need to go back and experience and explore. You can have that belief, you can have that paradigm, and you can spend the energy doing that. Or you can come right back to the present moment in this new paradigm, in this new consciousness, in this new awareness, and focus solely on what's inside of you that's being shown to you. That's all that matters. So stop trying to look outside of yourself for all these things that might be impacting you, all these lifetimes that might have impacted you, all these people that may have impacted you. That's a waste of energy. Come into the sovereignty of you, of your physical space, of your contained beingness. And the energy coming in and the energy moving out of your spinal cord with these meridians and what it's showing inside of you. That's why we have been asked to embody, 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 embody. Embody more, embody more, embody more. Because how we're going to easily and gracefully move through our ascension going forward is to be so in the body that we will feel our spinal cord fill with light. We will feel the meridians moving out and touching all of these denser pockets. We will feel what those denser pockets are. We will acknowledge it. We will say, holy cow, this was from when I was 7 years old. Look at what's still in my physical form. Wowzers. Okay, love this. Feel it, see it, acknowledge it, period. Let the light do the work that it's here to do. Let it dissolve it. Let it dissolve it. You don't need to go read books. You don't need to go and process it. You definitely don't need to heal it. I'm going to do a whole other video on healing. You know, we have a really strong belief system in healing. And it's a human thing. And it's beautiful. But there is no such thing as healing. Tell me how you heal something. It's energy. It just naturally moves and breaks up and moves through you. So you can put all this work into healing something, all these steps into healing something. But when you try to heal something, you're doing it from your mind and your ego. That's not how you heal. You actually don't have any control over healing. Really, all that's happening is more light's coming in and these pockets are breaking up and dissolving into the spinal cord and going down. So that can be considered healing, you know, but it's more of a shifting. It's less of healing and more of a shifting. So if you can start to think about it as like, okay, I'm not trying to heal anything. I'm not trying to process anything. I'm not trying to work through anything. I'm just recognizing that as light comes in, meridians come out, meridians move out and point to certain things and have me see certain things over and over again, perhaps. Maybe tapes are playing over and over again. Beliefs are playing over and over again. Behaviors are playing over and over again, right? It's because it's breaking up. So if you have a addiction or a behavior that you're doing over and over again that you're trying to quote unquote heal, start to look at it as, wow, this meridian is really shining light on this behavior. This meridian is really shining light on this behavior. It's really shining light on this behavior. What do I need to do? What do I need to do with this? I need to be aware of it. I need to keep my awareness on it. I need to keep my consciousness on it, right? So you don't turn your back. You don't ignore it. You don't pretend it's not there. You focus on it. You acknowledge it. You see it. You love it. You bring so much awareness to it, right? I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you, I see you. I surrender to you, I surrender to you, I surrender to you, I surrender to you. I admit that I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I admit that I don't know how to heal this. I don't know how to heal this. I don't know how to heal this, right? You get into those spaces, taking the control away, that there's nothing you need to do, okay? Same thing with pains or traumas that come up. Emotions that come up, right? If the same sort of emotion comes up, that you're afraid to go out and stand on your own, you're afraid to be by yourself, I'm afraid to be alone, I'm afraid to be alone, I'm afraid to leave this person because I'm afraid to be alone. Okay, that's an energetic pocket that's being shown, the meridian is shining light on this, right? It's a belief system, it's a fear, right? It was created and designed from past experiences, this lifetime or other. By the way, it doesn't matter if you necessarily understand where, although it can help if it's in this lifetime, it can help just in terms of acknowledging and grasping it. So all you need to do is just keep bringing awareness to it. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to understand it. Just bring awareness to it. Can you love it? Can you acknowledge it? Can you feel it? Can you see it? Can you get frustrated with it? Can you get angry with it, right? I'm afraid to be alone. I'm afraid to be alone. I'm afraid to be alone. Eventually you're going to understand that all it is a belief system that's not true. It's not you. So the more you bring your awareness to it, you're acknowledging it, your consciousness to it, keeping yourself in that, just watching it, the less power it's going to have. And it's going to start to dissolve and dissolve and dissolve and dissolve. So when you start to put your focus on, steps to do or books to read, or kind of focusing away from it to try to figure out how to come back and fix it, there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to heal. You can't heal it and you can't fix it. You have to just sit with it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to feel it. You have to just keep that light shining on it and surrendering over and over to it. I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. I'm seeing you. I'm loving you. I'm seeing you. I'm loving you. I'm understanding the light shining on it. Let the light do the work. Let the light do the work. Let the ascension process do the work for you. Let the natural process of ascension and shifting into higher states of frequency do the work for you. Who you were 5 years ago, I guarantee you, is not who you are now. The way you've shifted from 5 years ago to now, you have no idea how you did it. I guarantee you, most of you don't quite understand how you got from where you were there to how you are now. It naturally shifts. It naturally happens. And the more you can sit in the not doing freaking anything, but letting the process of physics and energy work, the easier this is going to be. Because as we're shifting, we have no control over it. It's energy, it's physics, it works on its own. It does its own process. Okay? So who you were 3 years ago to who you are now is energetically different. And you can't quite understand how you got here, okay? Because it all physically happened physics-wise, energetically, scientifically, kind of, sort of, but out of your control. Most of the people that are really acutely aware of their ascension process will tell you that it naturally happened. There's no steps you can kind of do to make it faster. It just naturally happens. So that's my spiel on how to start to see and feel this process. You can start to feel the channel coming in. You can start to try to bring your awareness to your spine. You can start to kind of bring awareness to the meridians, the arms going out. Start to bring awareness to this new way of seeing shifting, this new way of seeing the stuff that we have been trying to clear, process, heal. It's challenging, to open to this. It's a new paradigm. It's a new way of seeing it. But it also intuitively feels right. It intuitively is like, oh yeah, of course. Why the freak are we making it so hard? And we have choices. So we have choices as to what we're going to believe in. We have choices as to what we're going to put our focus on. We have choices as to what we're going to put our belief systems into. You have choice. And there's 1,000 different realities out there that you can buy into. So this is just one new reality that you can begin to open to. If you want. It's a lot easier. All right, my loves, I'm going to go. I have so many more videos I'm going to do. I can't wait. So I'm just going to send them out every day this week and just blast you guys with these videos. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing these videos with other people. And thank you. I love you all, and we will be back together very soon.